supported by Councilwoman Brandana. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Item 7.12, motion to approve the spring golf rates for Lakes of Taylor and Taylor Meadows Golf Club for the 2023 season.
Make a motion?
Support.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilwoman Whitten. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. The yeses have it, motion carried. Item 7.13 is a motion to approve the attendance of 2 Department of Public Works employees to attend the 2023 American Public Works Association Great Lakes Expo in an amount not to exceed $2,950, including out-of-pocket expenses funded through the Water System Fund.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Whitten, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Item 7.14 is a motion to approve the attendance of 2 City Clerk's Office employees at the 2023 Municipal Association of Municipal Clerks Summer Conference in the amount not to exceed $2,800 plus out-of-pocket expenses funded through General Fund, Clerk's Office, Training, and Transportation.
Make a motion?
Support.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilwoman Brandana.
Yep.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes. All opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Item 7.15 is a motion to approve a solicitation request for VFW Post 4422 to hold their annual Buddy Poppy Days on May 4th through 6th, 2023.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Whitten, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Yeses have it, motion carried. Item 7.16 is motion to receive and file the general employee quarterly reports.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Whitten, supported by Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion?
Chairman,
Yes.
could we have, Jason come up and tell us about this or explain it a little bit?
Yes, I could. If you grant me a few minutes, I actually don't have a copy printed out right now, so give me a second, I can bring it up here.
Here, you want one?
Oh, okay. So last meeting we had the police and fire pension quarterly statement. So what this represents is the general police pension plan. Same type of information, and based on our discussion last meeting, we included a couple more pages, or another page that show the additions, deletions of the actual cash and investments for the quarter ending. So, you know, this is just like the police and fire. I'll go over these, so the reports are pretty much the same. On page 4, the first few pages is just really introductory stuff for the quarter and how the markets and industries are doing. Page 4 kind of starts the data information per se. It has kind of like an overview of the total balance as of the point in time. This one was December of 2022. You have about roughly just under $43 million in value, and you can see the pie chart that separates where that value is at. And then also it kind of breaks it down by sector on the bottom section, domestic equity, international equity, so forth and so on. Page 5 is the new statement that's going to be included from now on. This is your beginning balance of the quarter, your additions, deletions, and then your ending balance. So as you can see on page 5, your beginning market value as of October 1st, 2022 was approximately $38 million. And then with the additions, deletions, your value at 12/31/2022 is just under $43 million. But you can see how each of the different securities are doing. So that's the new item based on discussion that shows the actual dollar value beginning, and then the change, and then the ending. Page 6.
Could I pause there?
Yes.
Because I want understanding, right, where were we at, pluses and minuses, and where are we? That's kind of a standard financial statement, and this is, something that was available, I believe, off the shelf from our investors. So it's not as though we had asked for additional information, but that is the simplified sheet that, instead of just the allocation, to know what the dollars and cents were. So I do appreciate that, as I had some offline discussions. So I wanted to pause and make certain it made sense to the rest of the council in terms of what the change is that's in the packet.
And since we're on page 5 still, just a brief comment is that you'll see, we did go from 37 million to about 43 million, but if you look at the third column, contributions, about 4.2 million, that's the city's contribution. We do that once a year, typically in October. So that's why you see there, even though, there was still $2 million and some change in investment appreciation, so that's good. But the majority of that change is because the city made their annual contribution during that time frame. So, just to give you a little bit of a background on that.
And the distributions are for those that are in the plan, and that those are their pension benefits, right?
Yep. And then page 6 is the comparative analysis. So what this is comparing the plan returns against the benchmark for the industry, and then also against other similar public plans. And just kind of go over the first column. It's more the quarter ending in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. But what you see is, the top area is the fund composite. That's your actual, right? That's the actual investments that we have balanced as of that date. The fund policy amount is if we invest everything according to the policy, because sometimes you have some, tiny differences and things like that. That's what we would have earned if we had 100% fund policy. And then you have your all public plans, or your benchmark. So as you can see in that first column on page 6 at the top, you see the quarterly fund composite return was 6.43%. And then you have a number that's in parentheses, 28%. What that is that's our ranking and quadrant level. So the lower that number, the better. So right now we're at 28%. That's great because you're better than half of the people, half of the public plans you have out there. So, but the lower that number in parentheses, the better the plan is doing compared to the benchmark and to the average of public plans. So, and then again, the rest of then you have the more detailed information on returns per fund, per security, and then you have it weighed out for a year up to 10 years. So you can see how the plan's doing and each security is doing compared to its benchmarks. And the same thing goes on for page 7, and the rest of the report is the same kind of thing. Page 9, the last page of the report, really is what we call alternative investments. These are ones that are not readily marketable, like they're not securities, they're not mutual funds. They're investments in like real estate, things like that pension plans are allowed to do. But their returns are, sometimes they're delayed in reporting because they don't have public audits and things like that. So we have to get some of their investment stuff through alternative means. But those usually are updated a little bit longer than your average security that's on the open market. So, but you can see you only had 2 of them.